Hi, my name is Maya and welcome to the episode 33 of the Milai's Tinks Knitting Podcast, where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. So, today is the 9th of October 2024 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko. You can find me on Instagram as milahis.tinks and you can find links of everything I talk about down in the description box below, as well as my measurements if you are interested. So, it's been a while, I mean a little bit more of a while than usual since the latest podcast episode, and actually it's only been 3 weeks, but for some reason it feels like 3 lifetimes because like so many stuff happened, so many things yeah, I have a feeling that it's been a lot more than 3 weeks, but it hasn't. Anyway, so I'm gonna have a ton of stuff to talk about today, and I just hope I'm not going to like jump from one subject to the other without any transition, but it's probably gonna happen, so I'm sorry in advance. So I'm gonna try to stick to my list for the beginning so that I don't get lost right from the get-go. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is the reason I haven't been here for a while is because I was sick for way too long and my voice just was gone in the limbo. So yeah, it wasn't really a perfect condition to film. But it also means that I have a ton of stuff to show you, and yeah, I will try to be quick about that, but yeah. I was sick for a while, and actually I've been starting to feel sick again this morning, so I just hope my voice is going to stay with us today. In any case, I'm probably gonna have to do a lot of editing because I have to clear my throat a lot, so yeah. We're gonna have to deal with it, and sorry, editing Maya, about what's gonna happen today. So that's about the first thing, and the second thing has nothing to do with that, but it's a huge thing because we hit 1000 subscribers on the channel. I'm just so happy. So yeah, thank you to all of you who subscribed and to all of you who are going to subscribe or whatever. I'm just happy. To be honest, actually it's not exactly 1000 because we are at 999, but I'm going to assume that I'm probably gonna hit 1000 after this episode, which means that when you're gonna watch this, I am gonna be past 1000. 1000. You get it. So yeah, I wanted to celebrate, and I had to do a lot of thinking in my head about this because I've been doing a lot of celebrations lately because a lot of cool stuff have happened. Like I turned 30 and we had the podiversary at the beginning of the summer, and yeah, a lot of stuff happened. And I did some giveaways and some celebrations, and I gifted some of my summer knits, and yeah, I did a lot of stuff, but I've been thinking that the bigger thing I did was giving away my summer knits, but they are stuff I knit for myself, which means they are around my size, or if they are bigger, they are not that much bigger, and I'm not like a big size at all. So it was actually bothering me because this was not really size inclusive. I mean, of course I was knitting for myself and I was not going to knit something, I mean I could have, but I didn't, knit something in the bigger size to give away something that would be maybe more, that could be inclusive for more body types, but I didn't. So I was a little bit bothered by the fact that I was doing a giveaway only for people of my size, which is a small size. So I've been feeling stuck with this idea for a while because I didn't know how to solve this issue, because I don't really have a lot of like larger size garments because I have no reason to make them for myself. And for some reason it took me so long to finally find a solution, which ended up being so easy. I could just give away things that don't have a sizing, like shawls, for example. So when it struck me, I decided to go through my shawl collection I don't have a ton, but I have some, so that I could give away something that could fit any type of body. So I did that, which means that for the celebration of 1000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, I'm gonna have a shawl giveaway. And I actually selected two that I don't wear. They are both very different. One of them is more a scarf and the other one is a like triangle shawl, so that you can choose which one you prefer. So I'm gonna show you the scarf thing first. And it's this one, which is like 6 kilometers long. This pattern is the Moonbumps by Maxime Cyr, and it's like a stockinette shawl with some I-cords and tail woven in to have this cute effect. And the yarn I used is Nutiden by Onerok Air, which is an unspun yarn, and I held it double for this, and it's the colorway Omge, which is a deep, like, navy blue, and the orange stripes are 100% silk. It's like a DK worsted weight, so they are very shiny and beautiful, and I think the contrast of texture against the unspun and the shiny silk is gorgeous. So I really love this piece, but the thing is, unspun is a little bit scratchy for me. I mean, not a little bit, it is scratchy. So I don't wear this guy because it's against my face, which is kind of the worst. Which is a shame because it's, I mean, wow. So yeah, I figured it was an excellent thing to do the giveaway, because it just makes me sad when I see this guy sitting in my shelf and I don't wear it, but it's so warm and cozy and beautiful, and I mean, I did an amazing job at knitting it. So yeah, it's just a perfect like scarf shawl thing, and I just would like to have someone else have the opportunity to enjoy it. I think it's 2 meters long, maybe even more. Oh yeah, it's more than 2 meters. I think it's 2 meters 20. That's probably this in feet. It's very tall, much taller than me. So yeah, the first one is this guy, and I knitted off gauge. By the way, the gauge for the pattern is like fingering to sport, I don't know, and this is more like worsted gauge. So yeah, totally off gauge compared to the pattern, but I think the result is nice. So that's the first one. And if you don't want to wear this type of scarf, shawl or collar or whatever, the second shawl you can choose is this beautiful thing, which is gigantic as well. And this one is the Flèche, which is actually a French word. It means arrow, and because there are some arrows in the pattern there. By Gilliatt, which is Knitterella on Instagram, I think. And again, I'm totally off gauge because this is a fingering weight pattern, but I knit it using again Nutiden, held double, and this is the colorway Fleeceline, which is a natural, like very light beige, and it's 100% lamb's wool, so it's very light and soft. It's gorgeous. I wouldn't say it's necessarily softer than other wool blends they do at Onerok Air, which are not lamb's wool, but people say that this one is softer than the others, but I don't see it. For me it's just Nutiden, but yeah, it's lamb's wool, and it doesn't have a ton of drape compared to the other one, because this is lamb's wool, so this is the only difference I can see. This is not softer, but it has less drape. Anyway, it's still super lightweight and beautiful, and I used, this is a sample I got, so I don't even know which colorway it is. For the light green and for the darker green here, it's a dark green. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, I used those two colors. So this is it, and it's beautiful. It's difficult for me to do this, because this one is really one of my favorite shawls I have ever knit. I mean, it's beautiful. But the reason I'm giving it away is because, first, it's also unspun yarn and it's also itchy, so I don't wear it. And I have knit another triangular shawl that's the same size, the same shape, but in a yarn that I prefer wearing against my skin. So there is absolutely no scenario ever in my life where I'm gonna wear this one over the other one. So I have absolutely no reason to keep this. Other than I'm super proud of it and I love it, but I think it's not a reason good enough to hold on to this guy. So I'm willing to part with it to celebrate this milestone for the channel. And I hope you will appreciate it because this is really breaking my heart, but I would just feel so much better if I wasn't feeling like guilty of seeing this guy in my shelf, never wearing it. So yeah. You can enter the giveaway by simply commenting below and just tell me which one of the two you would prefer to get. Either the scarf, the 2 meters long scarf in Nutiden, or the shawl in Nutiden again. This one is the Moonbumps, this one is the Flèche. So you can choose between the two and I will send them out to you internationally. I don't care about the country. I'm gonna send one of them to you, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, so that's my little celebration to thank you all for your support over the last year and some on this channel and everywhere really. I'm just feeling so grateful that I just want to really give something almost as big as how like thankful I feel for all of you. I have no idea if this sentence made sense, but I hope you got what I mean. Anyway, comment below and just tell me which one you prefer. Next up, I wanted to mention I published my first design, but I'm gonna come back to it at the end of the episode because I have already talked about it in a post I did a few days ago. So if you're interested, you can stay until the end, but if you know about it already, I'm not gonna mention it again now. So I published my first pattern, but I'm gonna talk about it at the end. And I have I have something absolutely huge, like 6,000 times bigger than the fact that I celebrate 1,000 subscribers. Like, it's something incredible. When I learned about it, I cried. But I'm gonna keep it a secret for now, but I can already tell you a little bit, but I won't tell you the details. But it's like, I can't believe it. I'm gonna do a collab with a big yarn dyer for a garment design. So I'm gonna design the garment and they're gonna provide the yarn, the colorways, and we're probably gonna do, I don't know the details yet, but it's a collab with a yarn dyer that I absolutely adore. And I just can't believe she said yes. She said yes. So yeah, there's that, and sorry to leave you hanging, but I just wanted to let it out. I'm super excited. There is something huge coming and I just can't wait. Anyway. Oh, I forgot to mention something about the celebration for the 1,000 subscribers. I'm all over the place, sorry. It's that I wanted to do the celebration with a giveaway, but I'm also going to do a special video that I'm gonna publish this weekend, I think, which is gonna be a Q&A. Yes, a Q&A. So I would need your participation for that. So if you have any question you've been wanting to ask me about whatever subject, knitting, personal life, gardening, climbing, I don't know, I do not garden at all, but you can ask whatever question you want and I will try to answer them all during a special video this weekend. So again, comment below with all your questions and yeah, feel free to ask. If it's really a question that's so personal that I don't want to answer, I'm just gonna not answer. But feel free to try. Maybe I will. So yeah, I wanted to do that since, yeah, there are quite a lot of you around here and I don't really know what you want to know about me, so it's difficult for me to just do like a I'm gonna talk about myself for 1 hour video. So I'd rather ask you what you want to know and then answer those questions. So this is coming and yeah, I can't wait to see what you're curious about. are curious to know what you're curious about. So, I think that's all for the little, like, PSA, and let's get into the knitting, finally. So, the first thing is, yes, what I'm wearing. So, I am wearing not only my hair, but I have something underneath. So, this is the Halmoni Jacket by me. I'm the designer. And it's a design that I am currently test knitting. The test knit started a few days ago, and I knit this one for my dad, so it's way too big for me. My body is like here, so that's a lot of positives, and the sleeves are too long, and yeah, it's just too big. It's for my dad. This is size 7, and I'm super happy about it. And first, this color is beautiful, okay? But I really don't like wearing it. I think I look like trash wearing this type of super warm tones. So the color is beautiful, but I think I look awful in that. But maybe I'm gonna take it off because it's really disturbing to see myself in the viewfinder wearing something I... Anyway, the yarn is Cyrano by De Rerum Natura, which is a French brand that I absolutely love, and it's like an Aran weight yarn, and this is like a fully cabled jacket design with pockets, and it's gonna have a zipper, but I haven't put it on yet for some reason. I forgot. So it's supposed to be a zipped up jacket, and yeah, there are cables on the sleeves as well, and the cables run all around the body. There are no filler stitches anywhere. It's just a completely cabled jacket all around, and I'm super proud of it. Yeah, so I'm not gonna say everything I have talked about. Everything I have said about this design today. If you're curious, you can go and watch episodes 31 and 32, where I say a lot of details about it, but I'm just gonna mention a few other... I'm struggling, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say a few other things about it that I haven't mentioned yet. But first, the most important thing to know is that this is called the Halmoni Jacket because Halmoni means grandmother in Korean, and this is inspired by a jacket that my grandmother knit for my dad, and it's here. And I just wanted to continue the little family tradition. I don't know, she was a knitter, I'm a knitter. I wanted to knit a similar jacket for my dad, so I did. I just changed a little bit of the cables for this one to make it a little bit more interesting and just a little bit different. The construction is not the same, but yeah, other than that, it's very similar. I mean, they are cousins. They are cousins, but not sisters. And I'm super proud. So the things I wanted to mention about this. First, this looks like a ton of knitting, and it is, but it actually goes a lot faster than you think, because it's broken down in a lot of small steps. You never have a ton of knitting to do, and then it's never ending because you have like a lot to do until you get to the next step. So yeah, this never happens because there are pockets, and when you join, not in the round, but when you join the front and the back together, you knit a little bit like this, and then you start the pocket, so you knit small panels at a time, and then the back, and then the linings. So you only knit like small chunks, and it goes super fast, and it just makes the thing a whole new level of knitting experience, in the sense that you don't have the never-ending rows on the whole body of the cardigan, which to me is the thing I don't really like about cardigans. Like, knitting flat in the body for 6 kilometers is a little bit boring for me. I just prefer knitting it around. So I really think that having the pockets and have everything broken down in small steps just feels a lot better for me. So this is, as I mentioned, a size 7, and I don't usually knit size 7 for myself. So it was a pretty funny experience of petite and small Maya discovering knitting for plus sizes, which was interesting. And yeah, it's always important, I think, to put yourself in others' people's shoes, and I think it was necessary for me to need something really plus size to really understand what it's about. I was already giving super long testing periods, like for the other patterns I tested, and for this one the testing periods are 3 months, 2.5 months, 3 months. So I was already convinced it was necessary to give a lot of testing time for the bigger sizes, but now I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of knitting. But fortunately, since this is broken down in small steps, it doesn't feel too daunting. So if you've been wondering if this was maybe too difficult to knit because of all the cabling and the stuff happening, I think it's okay. I actually thought it would be a lot worse, like it would take me a lot more time and it would be a little bit more boring, but actually it was fine. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Now, the other things I wanted to mention, there is one funny thing I find, is that when I was designing the garment, I had originally 9 sizes, but I figured I could do a 10th one, but it meant changing a lot of stuff in the, because I had already done the grading, and I was like, I could add a 10th, but then I need to change everything. So do I need to? No. Do I want to? Yes. Because I could, so there was just no reason for me to not do it, since I could. So I did it, and it was a whole story to add the 10th size into the pattern, but I did it. And actually I got no applicant for the 10th size in the test call, because it's huge. It's a very, very big size. And the reason for it is because this is designed to fit the upper bust, or the... For a man it's called the chest, and for a woman it's called the upper bust, because you measure it over your full bust. And it's usually a measurement that's smaller than the full bust, and it happens to be that in the sizing charts that I use, the upper bust only goes up to, I think, 146 centimeters, and I graded until 160 something, so completely off the chart. In the way the cables were laid out in my pattern, it was easy for me to make the 10th size, so that's why I did it. But then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of women applying for this, and actually I could grade it because in the men's chart I had a size with a chest of 160 something, so that's how I could grade it, even though it was off the chart for the women, since this is a unisex pattern. So I mainly did it for the larger size men out there, but yeah, I didn't get the application for it. So if you happen to know a man, or a woman really, who has a 160 centimeters chest or upper bust, there are spots left in the test group. So if you're interested, I'm of course gonna give you extended period since the test has already started, but yeah, just wanted to mention that. I have a 10th size and I would like to get it tested, but I don't have anybody yet. So if you're interested, or if you know someone that might be, please share. Okay, and I also wanted to mention something for the sizing. Not really the sizing, but the fit really. Is that this pattern doesn't include bust darts, because if you include bust darts, it's gonna be around here. Around here. Which means you're gonna knit this section for longer than this section. That's how bust darts work. You do short rows and you work the middle only and not the back, so that you have a longer front than the back. Which means you see those cables, they are synchronized. They wave, they squiggle at the same rate. But if you work this and not this, those cables are not going to be aligned with those anymore. And I had a hard time wrapping my head around that, and I wasn't really sure I wanted to implement that in a pattern. So I discussed it with my tech editor, and I asked her if it could be possible to knit the bust darts, but at the bottom here, and just add the fabric here at the front. And she said it would work exactly the same. So I was hesitant to do that, but then I have the pockets happening here, and the joining row is a little bit complicated. I mean, it's not complicated, but to write it out and make it make sense, it was a little bit difficult, and it's gonna be a lot more difficult if I have to add the short rows below that. and have to make the pattern work, and then I cannot make a chart because everyone is gonna be at a different point in the chart at the bottom. So it's just gonna be super complicated to implement. So I decided to not do it for now, so the pattern doesn't have bust darts, which is bothering me a little bit, but I really don't feel confident enough to add them in yet. So maybe in the future I'm gonna do like an update and add them in when I get like confident enough to do it, but for now they are not. And I just wanted to explain why, because I think bust darts are really important to get a nice fit, especially for the bigger sizes. I don't need them, so I don't really care, but for the bigger sizes it is super important in my opinion. So I felt weird and bad not adding them, but yeah, I just wanted to be transparent. I don't know how to add them in. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I'm still a beginner designer. Like, I don't even know if I could call myself a designer. Yeah, I've done like a skirt and this guy, so literally I don't know. And I need a little bit more time to learn how to do it, and if I add bust darts, I want to do it correctly. So I'd rather not add them in for now and do it in a perfect way later. I hope you understand, but I just wanted to mention that. Also, a big thing is that, as I said, this is absolutely not my size, so it's way too big. So I had to take the pattern pictures with me wearing this, but then I feel like everyone is gonna get tricked into thinking that this pattern is a super cozy, oversized pattern, but it's not, because this is not really fitting me correctly. Like, the neckline is it's too big, it's not supposed to be like that. This is droopy and not looking great on me because it's too big, that's all. And you could just size up to get a very oversized fit like this, and then just need the sleeve shorter, but then you're gonna have the collar that's too big. Because I did the sizing very carefully across the size range, so this is happening. Anyway, so I don't want people to think this is a very oversized pattern and that the collar is not designed well. So I should really knit myself a sample in my size. I mean, the testing group is gonna knit sizes that are appropriate for them, but still, I think I should do it. And it's gonna go so much faster. It's gonna be like twice less knitting. So yeah, it shouldn't take too much time, but yeah. And I don't like knitting with the same yarn over and over again, and this is already the second garment I'm knitting in this yarn, which is beautiful, I really love it, but I just want to try something else. So I've been on the hunt to find a yarn that would suit this gauge, which is pretty big. The stockinette gauge is 14 stitches, and the cable gauge in this particular pattern is 16.5. So yeah, it's a pretty hefty gauge. And I've been trying to find a yarn that would suit it, and I think what I would like to try is Rama Vamps, which is like non-superwash Nordic yarn, but I'm just a little bit unsure if it's gonna be too scratchy for me, since yeah, I would like to be able to wear like a simple t-shirt underneath, like I'm wearing here, and I just don't want to have the collar touch me here and then be itchy, because this is super sensitive. So I'm hesitant to buy a huge like jacket quantity of this yarn and then not knit with it because it's too itchy. So I just order one ball and it should arrive by the end of the week, and then I'm gonna swatch and put the swatch like under my clothes for a while and see if it's itchy or not, and then I'm gonna decide if I can knit my sample with this yarn or not. And I got a few other suggestions in the comments of my latest video where I mentioned about maybe knitting this in my size, and I've been looking them up, but I think someone mentioned Cascade Eco Plus, I think, and it's a little bit too thin. I'm a tight knitter, so if the yarn is too thin, the gauge is really gonna get too thin for me. And I forgot about the other ones, but yeah, I have a growing list of yarns I need to check out to knit this one, but yeah, I'm still not sure what I want to use, so if you have a suggestion. The yardage for this one is, I think, 150 meters for 100 grams, so pretty big, but this is woolen spun, so if you suggest a worsted spun yarn, which tend to have less yardage. It should be probably more like 120 meters per 100 gram. So yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, if you have something that fits the bill to suggest, I'm all ears. And there is a yarn festival coming up in 2 weeks, very near me, so I hope I could maybe find something there. I don't know, we shall see. So yeah, that's the upcoming plan for this one. And I also need to add the zipper in it. One day. The last thing I wanted to mention for this one is, so this pattern was inspired by the original jacket here. So it was super helpful for the rookie designer, aspiring designer that I am, to have something to actually measure and go from to design the new thing. So it was a great experience, but at the same time, I've been feeling a little bit constricted that I was trying to stick to the original idea. And there were quite a few times where I would have completely branched out and used like a totally different technique, or just made something in a totally different way, or yeah, there were some decisions that I took, not because I wanted to necessarily, but because I kind of set myself the rule to stick to this one, at least have it be a little bit similar. And yeah, that part was a little bit not frustrating, but yeah, actually a little bit frustrating. So at the same time, it was a super nice decision to have this as a base and use this as a guideline, but also on the other hand, it was a little bit, I felt less free than, for example, this summer I designed for myself a lot of summer garments, and I had just like blank page and I could do whatever I wanted with the yarn I wanted, and to take decisions I wanted and give the shape I wanted and place short rows or not, and maybe pockets, and then whatever. I could do whatever I wanted, and for this one I couldn't. And I think I'm not gonna do that again. It was nice, as I mentioned, for the beginning to learn. It was excellent to learn, but now I learned. I don't know everything, but I know a lot more than before. And I think I got what I needed from the experience, and now I'm just going to, for everything I design in the future, I'm just going to go with my gut and do whatever I want, because it's just a lot more enjoyable for me. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. I thought it could be interesting for you to know about the whole story behind this. Anyway, so that's it for this one. And I'm too hot. I'm sorry, I'm really... Oh. And the t-shirt I'm wearing underneath is Tolsta Tee by Rebecca Clow, but it has nothing to do with the pattern anymore. I think the only thing I kept is the cast on number. But other than that, I knit the tee and it wasn't fitting, so I ripped everything except the neckline, and I changed the placement of the raglan. I made it into a compound raglan, which means I have different increase rates on the sleeve and on the body, and they change along the line here. Yeah, so it's based on the Tolsta Tee, but it's not a Tolsta Tee. And it's knit using Antigone by De Rerum Natura again, which is 100% linen, and this is holding up so well. Like, I have machine washed it maybe 4 or 5 times, and it's just soft and good as new. So really, I really recommend this yarn. I love it. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk about is I have a ton of finished objects. And I will try to go in order, but yeah, I have a lot. The first one is this guy, which is a burrito for now, but it's not. It's a shawlette, and it's based on the cable pattern of the Halmoni Jacket, but it's not a jacket. So you can see the same cable here, and then also the squiggly cables things on the side here. And this is knit actually using the same yarn, but thinner. So as I mentioned, the jacket was knit in Cyrano, which is like the big sister of the sisterhood. It's the Iron weight version, and this is the worsted weight, like DK to worsted weight version of the same blend. So it's a merino, French merino blend, and this is called Gilliatt or Gilliatt, I don't know. And it's the colorway Boulot, which I think is discontinued, and you can find the equivalent now, which is Poivre Blanc, but I think you cannot get Boulot anymore. But maybe it's the same color, I don't even know. But yeah, so the reason I knit this is because, as I mentioned, it's the same yarn but thinner, and I had the lonely skein of this that I had bought to swatch, and I swatched, and then I didn't want it to go on with the project, so I didn't buy more yarn, so I had one skein. And when I started the jacket, the cable looked so good in this yarn, and I remembered I had this skein of the same yarn but thinner, and I was like, I'm gonna knit the same cables. They look so good in this yarn, so why wouldn't I? So I just arranged the chart in a way that they would make a shawlette thing, and I knit until the halfway point with half of my yarn, and then it gets pretty complicated. Because I wanted to use half of the yarn for half of the shawl, so that I would use the rest of the yarn for the second half. So I did, but as I mentioned, I had swatched with the yarn. So I unraveled the swatch, and then I knitted with the like unraveled block yarn. But this is a woolen spun yarn, so it's very, very stretchy. And when I finished the second half, I had like more than 20 grams left. Because I had knit the second half with the like frogged yarn. And since it's a woolen spun, it just like stretched out so much that I got like 20% more yardage in the same yarn, like just by having knit with it once, because it's so elastic. And I couldn't really feel a difference between the yarn that had been knitted twice and the one that hadn't. So I just got a lot more yardage. So what I did is I frogged the second half, and then let's say I had 20 grams extra. I knit flat here for like 19 grams, 19 or 18, something like that. And then I started doing the decreases again, and I knit until the end. And when I got to the end, I ran out. When I was like this much before the end, I had like 4 rows left, and then the I-cord bind off. So I checked out the rest of my shawl, and I noticed one row like here where I had forgotten to do the decrease, which meant if I frogged back to here and then I did the decrease, I had forgotten, I would gain a little bit more yarn for the whole rows, and then I would finish 2 rows earlier, which would probably be enough. So I did that. I frogged until here, and then I knitted again, doing the decrease I had forgotten, and then I had this much left. Like, I went from not having enough to this much left, and this is not only due for like the one stitch I forgot to decrease, because that would have saved me like this much maybe, and then the 2 extra rows I earned from shortening the thing because I had forgotten a decrease would have gotten me maybe this, but then I still have this much. And this is because this yarn is very stretchy, as I mentioned. And I frogged the yarn and I knitted again, and I gained a little bit more length again. So if you ever play yarn chicken with a woolen spun yarn, my advice is, I mean, look, it's just an elastic at this point. My advice is to, you don't necessarily need to knit the yarn and then frog it, but maybe just wind up a tight ball, let it sit like this for a while, and you're probably gonna get like 10% of the length out of it. So if you're ever playing an epic game of yarn chicken like that, this is my advice. You can save yourself a little bit of meters by extending the yarn a little bit, which means that there is a legend running around of people saying that if you like buy a hank of yarn and then you wind it up in skein or cake and you let it sit, the yarn might lose a little bit of elasticity and lose like memory. And it is true, but not for all the yarns. It is true for woolen spun yarns, probably not superwash, but I think for a superwash yarn and worsted spun, it's probably not gonna make a huge difference. But yeah, just so you know, the legend is true, but not all the time. So that's it for this guy. This one is called the Halmoni Shawlette because it uses the same cable pattern as the Halmoni Jacket, and it's a shawlette. I'm just gonna put it on for you. And the second what am I saying? The second finished object is another addition to this collection. Wait. Come on. Anyway, it's a second addition to this collection because it's again knit using the same cable. And it's a cowl! Wow! Gorgeous! And this is knit using Woolberry Fiber Company's Rambouillet worsted, which is a Rambouillet yarn, and it's worsted weight. And the colorway is Frost. It's gorgeous. I'm having a moment with this type of super cold periwinkle. Oh, that's super hard to say. Periwinkle, lilac, whatever blue, very frosty colors. I'm having a moment with them. So this is the cowl version. And the big thing with this project is my plan is to make a pattern for a cowl, a cowl and a shawlette. I wanted to say cowl and shawlette. Yeah, anyway. A cowl and a shawlette, but make it gaugeless. So that you could use a single skein of whatever yarn you have in your stash and have a cowl or shawlette. So to test out my idea, because it works for worsted weight yarns obviously, but I wanted to check if it works with other weights. I am trying out the cowl in fingering weight, and I'm in the middle of a row. So this is just the beginning, but as you can tell, we are there. So for now it's working, obviously, because it's just the beginning, but I hope that when I get to the joining in the round here, I'm gonna have enough yarn. I mean, I will have enough yarn with the fingering weight to finish the cowl and have it be a nicely sized accessory, and it should work out. And if it does, that means we're gonna have one pattern that can get you a shawlette or a cowl, and you can use whatever yarn. And if you have two skeins, you could also do like a real shawl and not a shawlette. It would be totally useless to do a cowl with two skeins, but for this one it works. And yeah, you should be able to use whatever amount of yarn and weight of yarn. So that's the plan. And the funny thing is that the jacket, this one, I knit it on 5mm needles, and then I knit the shawlette on 4.5mm needles, and then I knit the cowl on 4mm needles. And now I'm knitting this one on 3mm needles. So I'm missing 3.5, but I'm planning to knit a shawlette in fingering weight as this one, but I want the shawl to have a little more drape than the cowl, so I'm gonna use 3.5mm for this one. So funnily enough, I didn't do it on purpose, but I'm gonna use all the sizes of needles from 3 to 5mm for this particular cable pattern. I just find it very satisfying. But again, pure coincidence. I didn't mention the yarn for this one. This yarn is Explorer Knits and Fibers Earthy Sock, which is a non-superwash merino base in the colorway Nightfall, and it's like a very deep teal color. It looks blue, I think, but it's ever so slightly petrol, like very like a blue but leaning teal. It's gorgeous, I really like it. And this has been sitting in my stash for a while because it's a single skein and I don't know what to do with a single skein of non-superwash yarns, because I wasn't sure this was soft enough to be next to skein. Because with a single skein I can usually do like a negative ease top, sleeveless top, but it was the first time for me trying out this base and I wasn't sure because in the skein form it felt like it could maybe be itchy, and I don't want it to take the risk of knitting sleeveless top for it to be itchy. So I just wanted to knit something else to see if it would be itchy or not. So I'm doing this, but now that I'm knitting it, it's so soft, like I can't believe it. It's so much softer than in the skein form. Like it's absolutely not itchy. I should have just knit a sleeveless top, but it's too late. So yeah, I'm very surprised that this is this soft, but it is. And just to show you how the pattern is coming up on the fingering weight, it's gorgeous. I'm so excited. So yeah, that's my work in progress. And oh, I forgot to mention, I also played yarn chicken for this one because I wanted to use the whole skein. And actually it was an epic fail the first time because I joined in the round when I was a lot wider than that, and then I could knit only this much until I ran out of yarn and it was just way too short to be a cowl. So I frogged the whole thing, I mean until here, and then I joined in the round a lot earlier, which allowed me to knit a lot longer before running out of yarn. But then I did the I-cord bind off at the top here, and I used a much bigger needle, I don't remember which one, but a much bigger needle, and it was slightly flaring out, and when I got to the end of the bind off, I was missing like 10 centimeters, this much. I had like 2 more I-cord rows to do and then I was done, but I was missing this much. So I unraveled the whole I-cord bind off, and I did it again on a smaller needle, which was still bigger than the body needle, but smaller needles than the one I was using before. And then I had the perfect amount to finish up my bind off, and it was so perfect that I wove in my end and I didn't even have to cut the end. It was this perfect, so yeah. I have absolutely nothing left of the skein. I used exactly 100 grams into this project, and it's so satisfying. I love yarn chicken. Anyway, I'm pretty curious to know, to see how long, for how long I'm gonna be able to knit with this one. Since this is fingering, I think I should be able to knit something a lot bigger. I haven't even put this one on. So this one is pretty snug because you can get a little bit less fabric when you use bigger yarns. So it's still, it's still fitting great, but it's snug. I like this fit actually. It goes exactly around my face like this. I really like this fit. So yeah, that one is fitting like this, but there is a chance that with the fingering weight I might be able to do the neck portion, in the round portion, a lot taller, so maybe I will be able to fold it in and have a slightly different look. Oh, this looks so great as well. I really like it. And I just wanted to mention something, which is that I incorporated decreases in the round part. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to see, but when you look at it like this, you can see that those cables here are disappearing because I'm doing decreases here on each side of this middle cable. So it's pretty invisible, I think, but there are quite some decreases. And I did that because I don't like the fit of cowls that have straight edges. And I took an example to show you. This one is the first cowl I ever knit for myself, and actually the only one, aside from this one. And this is the Inclinations cowl by Andrea Murray. And this one doesn't have any shaping at all. Like, the top part here is absolutely straight. It's a little bit bigger as well, but I'm gonna put it on to show you what I don't like about this shape. I still wear it all the time. This is probably my most worn piece of knitwear of the year. I'm still living in this guy, so it's not preventing me from wearing it, but it's just something I wish I had done differently, because this one fits like this. Like, what is this hole here? Why? I don't like this, really. I would much prefer if I had some decreases happening at the back, exactly like I did for the other one, and to have it fit like this. This is so much better. This is so much more useful as well, because when there is wind and I have it fitting like this, I'm like super cold in the neck, and this is completely useless, and then I have to hold it like this to get any warmth from it. And yeah, I just find it kind of useless. So it's great for the styling, it looks great, but I still prefer the look of this, like this. So that's why I decided to have the little bit of shaping, because I just think it looks better like this, rather than like this. That's all I wanted to say. It was important for me, and also it allowed to knit for a little bit taller, and when you're using a bigger yarn, it's a little bit of a critical point. So I did that, and I'm pretty happy about the result. So yeah, that's it for this big like pattern, 2-in-1 but infinity in one pattern. But I wanted to do something special for it, because I am using the cable pattern I used in the Halmoni jacket. So, and for sure doing a whole other pattern is work, but I'm reusing something I've already done for the jacket. And I mean, this is a shawlette. It's really not very complicated to do, and this is a cowl, so same thing, really pretty easy stuff. And of course, doing it in a way that works in all the gauges is gonna add more than twice more work to the thing, and having it be a double pattern of cowl and shawlette is of course a lot more work, but still, I think this is not gonna take too much of my time. So what I've been thinking is I could try something out, which is to do, how do you call that? A charity release, where I would donate all the... my plant just lost the leaf, okay? Where I would donate all the proceeds from the pattern to like a organization, I don't know which one, and yeah, I figured it could be a nice thing, since this is not gonna take, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of work, but compared to this, it's gonna go pretty fast. So I figured it would be a nice occasion to do that. And what I wanted to ask from you guys is, if you have a charity or an organization that's really dear to you and that you would like to support, please leave it down in the comment below so that I can check it out, and I will select one or two, I don't know. Battery change. So I think that's all I wanted to say about that. Please suggest an organization that's dear to you, and I will select one or two and then give all the proceeds for the first week of release of those guys, this pattern, to them. And yeah, that's all. I hope it will work out. I have no idea how it's gonna go, because it's like a shawlette. Like, there are 600 other out there, but at the same time it's a gaugeless shawlette. So I hope you're gonna be interested in buying those and supporting a good cause. So now I have talked about this particular cable pattern for a while, and I'm gonna switch it up because I have a very different project to show you, which is actually almost a finished object. Actually it is, but yeah, whatever. So I had mentioned in my fall knitting plans that I had 2.5 balls of this, which is Let Lopi by Istex, which is a very rough yarn, and I definitely didn't want to knit a garment with that because it's way too itchy for me. And this is yarn I got from a friend of mine. She sent me this because because I could have used it in a blanket, but actually I ended up not using it, so I had those 2.5 balls laying around, and oh, I said that with a very Southern American accent. Anyway, so I've been wanting to try the Jasmine Stitch for a while, which is a crochet stitch, and this yarn would actually be perfect for it because it's very lofty and squishy, and this is the result. It's so beautiful! Wow! It looks even better on camera. So I used all the yarn I had, and this is very thick. The Jasmine Stitch is like a combination of puff stitches, so it's very thick and very squishy and very nice. And I did this because I wanted to make a rug, because my feet are always cold and the floor at my apartment is very cold as well, and I just wanted something to put when I'm at my desk to not have my feet touching the cold ground. So I wanted to make a rug, So I did that, but then I ran out. I mean, I didn't run out, but I finished the black circle, and I had a little bit left, but I knew it wouldn't be enough to finish the circle. So I cast on another one, and I finished it. And when I finished the circle, I had this much yarn left. So absolutely perfect. Another epic game of yarn chicken one. So I have this little guy, and I think I'm just gonna use it as a like pot holder to just like put a plant on top and have it be on a funny squishy surface. I don't even know. But yeah, this is the smaller one, and it's looking super cute and squishy and fun. But this one ended up being a little bit too small. I mean, I can put my 2 feet on top of it, but then I cannot really move around because I'm immediately off the rug if I move. So I just wanted it to be a little bigger. So I went to my stash, and Let Loopy is pretty thick. It's actually the same thickness as this, so if you wanted to knit this in Let Loopy, you could. but I didn't want to use the leftover yarn of this, which is amazing yarn to make a rug. So I went to my stash, and I happened to have, like 3 years ago, I bought a cone, a 1 kilo cone of this yarn, which is Kilcara Tweed by Donegal Yarns, which is in England, I think. And I had bought a cone, and I had used maybe 700 grams to make a sweater for my ex. Like, do you know about the sweater curse? It really worked out for this one. Anyway, so I had like 300 grams left of it, and it's just been laying around. It's a little bit too scratchy for me, and in any case 300 grams is a super weird amount to have, and I didn't want it to make a shawl. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with it. Same weight. I have a ton, so I added it into the rug. I don't think they go particularly well together, and actually I'm pretty sure they don't. I think the color pairing looks pretty terrible. This is like a very dark brown, but it's almost a... I don't know, it's almost a cool brown. I don't know how to describe. And this is like a purpley blue with purple lilac specks, and I really don't think they go together, but it's a rug. I don't care. So I'm doing that, and I have... So this is one ball, I have 3. It was 190 grams when I started. It's already a lot smaller than when I started because this uses so much yarn. I mean, first it's crochet and it's super thick, so it uses a ton of yarns. So I'm super happy because I'm going through this ball super fast, and I think I will do 2 rows around. This is the first row, and then I will do a second one, and I'm probably gonna use maybe 30 grams of this for 2 rows of crochet. And then I have a greatly sized rug just for the bottom of my desk. I don't want it to be too big, but yeah. I'm just so happy about how this looks. I mean, look, the beautiful Jasmine Stitch. It's so cute. At the beginning I had some troubles because I didn't really understand where I was supposed to put my crochet. It was a little bit unclear to me, but after a few rows it finally clicked. But it means that in the middle I have some flowers, if I can find them again, that are a little bit weird looking, like this one. She has like 2 centers. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, this petal is completely not attached to this flower, and it should. Anyway, so yeah, it was a little bit tricky at the beginning, but it finally clicked. I'm gonna link below the tutorial I used, because I watched a ton of them, and a lot of them didn't make any sense. So I finally found one that was very well explained and that really made sense for me. So I'm gonna link it for you in case you would like to try it out. And actually the first few rows were a little bit difficult because you have like 24 loops to go through at the same time. But once it clicks, it gets so easy and natural, and like I don't even have to think anymore. I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's really like mindless. It's even more mindless than normal like double crochet or single crochet stuff, because it's a lot more repetitive. You're really always doing the same thing, and yeah, I just, for some reason, this feels even easier than normal crochet to me, so yeah, if you've been wanting to try it out, this is beautiful. And I mentioned in the fall knitting plans I wanted to do, I found out about a pattern for a cute little pumpkin that's made using the Jasmine Stitch, and I'm even more hooked up about this one because it's gonna be so easy and fast to make, because this goes so fast and this is so easy to do. So yeah, I just can't wait to make this little pumpkin. And yeah, I'm gonna cast it on as soon as I finish this one, and you can expect to see cute little fruits or whatever in the next episode. Crochet in Jasmine Stitch. Anyway, that's all for my works in progress, and I think the last one I wanted to mention is the pattern release. So I released my first pattern last week, it was Friday, and it was a skirt pattern as I mentioned, and it's called the Skeeter Skirt. And here she is. It's a beautiful skater style skirt, so that's a lot of fabric. This one is knit in 100% silk. This is Side Lace by Swedish Pint, which is a Swiss-based maker, so this is extra special for me. And it used, I think, 110 grams, so it's really lightweight, but it's really gorgeous. And this one is knit using, again, the Rerum Natura, but this base is called Candide, Candide, which is a blend of cotton and wool. And it's very drapey as well. I thought it wouldn't be because this is woolen spun, but actually the result is beautiful. And it has pockets! Ooh, yes! So yeah, that's the pattern I released. I'm gonna show you some pictures of the worn skirts that I took with a friend of mine, which is a photographer, and another friend of mine who is beautiful. So yeah, the release was last Friday, and it went like so well. And it's even an understatement to say that it went well, because it was like, my mind is blown. I still can't believe it. I received so much support, so many nice comments, and I sold so many copies. I still can't process what's happening, and I am today. So many people are still buying the pattern, and yeah, I'm just so grateful, so happy, so relieved also, because I worked so hard to make this pattern work, and the testing took so much time, and yeah, I poured so many effort and hours and days and weeks of work into this, and I'm just super relieved that it's paying off like that, and that people are super happy and excited. And even though this is completely out of season, I mean, it's not completely, because you can knit yourself a woolly skirt, but when I imagined it, it was for a summer skirt. So in my head it's a little bit out of season, but actually it's not, but whatever, it's just in my head. Yeah, so it's even more impressive that it worked so well, even though we are entering into the cool season. I mean, northern hemisphere, I mean. I couldn't find the words when it happened, and I still can't, so I'm sorry. This is gonna be I'm gonna use pretty basic words to say thank you, but thank you for the incredible support. Thank you for all the kind words. Thank you, of course, to all the testing teams. I'm also showing some pictures of the testers because they did some beautiful versions. And one thing I wanted to mention, I have always been convinced that size inclusive patterns are super important because everybody deserves to have well-fitting garments, and since the clothing industry in general is not size inclusive, in general, I mean, when it comes to knitting and people are making their own clothes, at least they can make themselves clothes that fit them until whatever size they are. So yeah, it has always been something super important for me, but I didn't think it would be possible, but it's become even more and more important than before, because I've been seeing all the tester versions and the plus sizes versions, and it gives me all the warm and fuzzies to see like plus size people when the whole world is trying to tell them that they are not worth being beautiful, or trying to make them think that their body is less than some other people who are straight size like me. And it makes me so sad, but when I saw how happy they were to have knit a garment that fits them so well, and they felt beautiful and amazing in their skirt. I'm starting to cry. Like, the feeling was just incredible to see that. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but yeah. The feeling of being able to help plus size people feel beautiful in their bodies, I just can't describe. So yeah, I already was convinced that it was important to make size inclusive patterns, but I'm even more convinced if it was possible to be. But here I am telling you that yes, it is important. I wasn't expecting to have a little cry on this subject, but apparently I had. So yeah, I put out the Skeeter Skirt pattern. It's my first pattern. I'm super proud of it. And thank you so much for the warm welcome you gave to the pattern. And if you'd like to take a look at it, it's available on Ravelry and on Payhip, and the links are in the description below. That's it. So, I think that's all for today. That was already a lot. This episode is already 6 weeks long. So I'm gonna stop here. Coming up, I have, as I mentioned, the yarn festival near me. It's called the My Swiss My, and it's a pretty small festival because Switzerland is small. And it's located in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, and it's even smaller of a part of Switzerland, so it's definitely not as big as the Swiss Yarn Festival that's happening in the Swiss-German-speaking part of Switzerland, which is a lot bigger. But anyway, it's small, but it's great. I went last year for the first edition, and I'm super excited to go back, and I hope to find a lot of yarns there for my upcoming projects. This is happening not this weekend, but the weekend after. And I'm hoping to find there, if you remember that, I am a tester for the Maxine sweater for Laura Penrose, and I just cannot make my mind on the color. I just can't. I keep on switching up, I keep on changing my plans and deciding that actually this is beautiful, so I want this, but then I see something else and I'm like, no, I need to change my plans, and then I go back to the first idea. So I hope that at the Swiss Yarn, no, not the Swiss Yarn Festival, the My Swiss My Festival, I will find some yarn for the Maxine, and then I can cast on. The deadline is mid-November, which leaves me a little bit more than 3 weeks, which is more than enough for me to finish a colorwork sweater, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, that's my plan. I hope to find yarns for this at the festival, as well as yarn for another design idea. My head is bursting with ideas, I just can't stop. And it's so hard to like rank the ideas between them, because in my head they are all incredible and I want to make them all at the same time, but I can't. So I need to do one before the other, but it's like picking a favorite child. It's so hard. So yeah, I hope to find yarn for this project there, and if I can find some, we shall see when I get to do it. But yeah, it's amazing. It's gonna be so good. Anyway, and the last thing, it has nothing to do with knitting, but I have a climbing competition coming, and it's in my local gym. It's happening every year, and usually, I mean, it depends. Usually I can qualify in the finals, but in this particular competition, sometimes it doesn't happen because there are some French people coming from France to us in Switzerland and are participating in the contest, but they are so strong that they usually take all the spots in the finals, and then us poor Swiss people cannot get in our all finals. And yeah, it's a little bit annoying because actually they are so strong that they are not allowed to compete in French competitions because they are too strong. So I'm like, why are you coming to our competitions? Anyway, we're gonna see. Maybe I got strong enough that I'm gonna be in finals with them. Probably not, let's be real, but it's gonna be fun to just participate with my friends doing the qualifications, and if I don't get in the finals, it's okay. I can just enjoy and watch. And I hope to film some snippets for you. It's gonna be super crowded, so maybe I will only film the finals, because filming during the qualifications is gonna be difficult because there are too many people. But yeah, I hope I can show you some footage of that, and that's it. This time. That's all I wanted to say for today. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like talking was especially difficult today for some reason. I guess I got rusty after a few weeks of pause. So yeah, I hope it wasn't too bothering to listen to. And again, sorry editing Maya for all the cuts you're gonna have to do. And I hope it will get better for next time. And yeah, so again, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a comment. Don't forget to leave a comment to enter the giveaway. Tell me which shawl you would like to win. And don't forget to comment on all the other stuff I told you to comment on. I don't even remember what I said. Also, don't forget to subscribe. At least, please, one person subscribe so I can actually get to 1,000. Please, just one person. And yeah, give me a like, and I think that's it. So, thank you so much for watching, thank you for being here, thank you for your support, thank you for the warm welcome of the Skeeter Skirt, and I hope to see you again next time. And until then, happy knitting! Bye!